I have so many things to say. Been away from stuff for a while. That is the video screen, not crypto in general. I've been around, so it's really interesting the infighting that we've had. And when I say infighting, I mean folks that have at one point uttered the words "fuck Richard." You know, these people that want to make a name for themselves and want to do it within a small time period. So we were first hit with the hexagon maximalism, and then that was in order for people to make it to where like hexagons question themselves and what they would talk about. So like get those hexagons on their heels and not allow them to have so much of a push force towards people's financial decisions whenever you collide with a hexagon or run into a group of hexagons on the internet. And a lot of this, I think, was just in the Twitter spaces, in Twitter in general, you know, where you can have some bullshit name and multiple names, actually, multiple accounts, say something stupid, disappear, and come back later with a different account. And you know, you don't have to have your voice. You could have it to where it's text. You could do all sorts of anonymous bullshit. So hopefully we're over this anonymous bullshit time period in Pulse Chain to where people are just fed up with it and just like, hey, you know, guess what? I don't have the time of day to give you. Fuck your bullshit. We have incredible bullishness right now in the community, and I don't know whether that is through despotism or if people are actually feeling as though we're going to start to make some of those percentages back from the huge dip that we've been on. With Richard Hart's court date coming up over there in New York next month, it kind of seems to me like this is going to be short-lived, but we'll continue to get exposure because people are paying attention to what Richard has been doing for the crypto community as a whole, all of crypto. And I hope you'll agree with me that Richard going quiet was yet another strategic move of his for him to interact with us plebs. You know, to what extent would appease you, and then also how would you grow yourself if you're always being protected? You know, like these losers that have been around, and that came to grab the fruit that had fallen off and is before it rots on the ground. You know, these scavengers. It probably doesn't take much to scavenge an amount to live on, but maybe not life-changing gains that these people are able to swindle others out of. But, you know, all in all, like, it makes everyone smarter. Everybody has a learning position whenever a scam happens or people go against what they said that their values were. Oh gosh, I have argued from the beginning what gives you the right to create a ticker and to have a financial pegging to it. Like let's trade unicorns for your stupid ticker instead of actually having a price for the ticker. What makes it to where you feel as though it's appropriate to create something that has a price? What gives your shit a price? Like, that's where you have to have an financial architecture conversation instead of just hype and this person's new and they're ignorant and yeah. So altogether, how many people are actually coming into crypto, turning their heads towards it? That's when we have these huge bulls versus bears. People recognizing that times are changing and slowly more and more people are coming in. I say slowly, but it could be all of a sudden epiphanies are happening amongst hundreds of thousands of people. Something that I've been proud of myself for doing lately is I put some money behind my YouTube channel. And so I've been pushing my shorts and some of my videos out towards people, asking the software to promote it towards audience growth. So I'm getting subscribers at the same time I'm getting viewers. So it's about a penny per view and about 5 cents per subscriber. And are those people actually interacting with HEX, or are they going to be interacting with my channel long term? I don't know. I don't know that. But I am proud of myself for getting stuff out there and analyzing which countries are reacting in which ways. And so one of the fun things is me and Marcus, the beekeeper in Hexaco, he's in quite a few of the groups. Marcus and I, whenever we went to the highest of stakes showing here in Austin, I guess that was a year ago, we did a video right as we were getting to the car in the parking lot. We did a video review that was like 9 minutes. Well, I want to say 9 minutes, but it might have been like 16 minutes, 12 minutes. I don't know. And it was pretty good energy in that video. And so amongst the community, we had about 900 views. But now that I've forced it out to like places like the Philippines and India, there's 5,500 views on that video. And I actually think that would be a pretty interesting video to forward to people, because it gets them to understand that one, there's a culture here, there's followers here, there's an obvious leader here, there's a cryptocurrency here, a financial gain opportunity. The thing is important enough to have a high quality like Hollywood actor type movie created about it. So like, you know, some of these countries, I hope this doesn't sound bad, but some of these countries, they're stuck in the consumption of our stuff, like the things that we create, they consume like crazy because they want to know what's going on in the United States. So we might be able to convince people for a split second that this was a big hit movie that they should go see, and they should understand what is behind this movie. So us doing a review about it And me forcing that over makes them go and investigate what's going on with this thing. Who are these people? What the heck are they talking about? Who are the people around the main guy? And then, it's on streaming platforms to where many people can get it. You don't have to buy a DVD copy exclusively. It's at your digital fingertips. Let's use the digital fingertips to our advantage. Like the far-reaching stuff, guys. We've got people around the world that will listen if you have the right words to tell them. And whether it's this season, that season, the next season, the moment, it all matters. The words that you're using, and eventually these folks will come around to the idea, the points, the reasoning. The thing that we're involved in, it's a great, amazing thing, but it's only just a small step in the direction where we're all going. So it's not that big of a step, is what I'm trying to say. People can convey it if the time's right. There for a little while I did some YouTube or some Twitter stuff saying like, hey, guys, Maddie created this coin, and he likes to onboard people with this physical coin because he's attached the aesthetics of it. Well, I created a bill, a certificate, a certificate that's the same size as a dollar bill. And the idea is that you put your email address in a blank box in the middle of it, and if you give that bill to somebody and they follow up with the things that it says on the bill, then they will email you their MetaMask wallet address. And whenever you have their wallet address, then you can put stuff in their wallet address, like an HSI, which is a stake that you create, wrap up, and send it to them like an NFT. You don't have to create the stake inside the wallet that holds it. You can transfer it to other wallets. That way, they keep their security completely safe, and you can gift them as small amounts as you want in order to get their feet wet. They can watch the HSI stake from an app of their choice, So recently, probably since I did a video, I pushed that out on Twitter, and I sent out a lot of mail with those things in there, and then some also reoccurring mail. So I probably got new addresses, about 20 new addresses. I'm probably right below 300 hexagon addresses now. You guys, I hope, feel safe with me holding those addresses, and I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. Some people, that the Twitter just puts all sorts of perspectives out there. People, if you have anything that people can bash you for, they're going to do it. And so the reason why I bring that up is because somebody said, I'm worried what you're going to do with those addresses. Okay, man. All right. Who also then, months later, became the biggest fudder of Pulse Chain in the last 3 weeks or so, that have really either shaken people out or pissed people off. And so that's another thing that I'm playing around with, is in my head, is are we actually arriving in a bull market, or is it that we had so many fudders that they almost knocked down to the foundation of the plant, let's say, and the plant is just growing back up? And then also, are these fudders, are these people, folks who are they're taking a breather from the Richard Hart juice, or the HEX maximalism juice? They're taking a breather from it, And I'm getting mixed up in my thoughts because I'm not one of them. You know, are people bashing Pulse Chain and HEX in the previous weeks in order to shake people out so that they can come into the system and chill and feel better about it? You know, they gave their best shot at fudding. It's almost like if I turned right now and became a fudder, how many people could I fud out in order for the price to be better on the flip side of that? And how many people are paying attention to the timeline? We're coming up to the election in the United States, presidential, and we're coming up to the holidays. And so the market works differently in December. And we're coming up to Richard Hart's court date in October in 1 month. So that's going to be first. So it's going to be Richard's thing, then election, then Christmas, you know? Speaking of Christmas, shout out to the Fountainhead Forum, who is a guy who is local to my area, who interviews some very unique people. Please check out that podcast. He hardly has any likes. He has a few views. He has more subscribers. So I've watched the channel just grow, but whenever I said Christmas, it made me think about how some culture doesn't celebrate Christmas, and it's actually a negative to celebrate it. I forgot which one that was. Yeah, and 9mm had an exploit, and something that Crypto Wonder has been saying is it doesn't matter who the players are or who is the righteous one that's calling out the folks that did the wrong thing, and like when they did it and who was all involved. The point is that you backed something that had a bug, a potential exploit. You backed something that was incomplete, that wasn't working properly. You just masked over it and said, oh, the humans will take care of that code that isn't complete. That's inappropriate. Absolutely inappropriate. Humans are not to trust. That's why we have passive yields that we don't have to worry about. That's why. And then the people who are pissed off, the only people I think, well, the majority, let's say, of good people who are pissed off, because there's only a small amount, and typically they're on YouTube or Twitter. They're typically Twitter trolls who, you know, can be little shits. The majority of these folks have been disenfranchised because of price go down in HEX. That's it. They love the function. They love everything about it. They just don't like that they got in at a certain time and the price did what it did. That means that if price goes up, if price goes to all-time highs or beyond, no one will have anything to complain about. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then they can go and shame anybody who said the F Richard. Shame them. So yeah, we just need to get past these growing pains of allowing people with, you know, these anonymous people to enter. Here's Hex Latina, for example, which is just fresh on the mind, right? Somebody who's able to stay anonymous, say that they were here for a long time, say that they have skills. Hey, they're gonna create a group, they're gonna create a token. Oh, this is just all fun and games, but not financial advice. Blah. if I hear that one more time, and I've said that before on a video, one of the worst things we ever started saying was, "Oh, not financial advice," as if we're not taking ourselves seriously. But with Pulse Latina, people complain about simps. Just altogether, people just don't understand the power behind putting a price with a ticker and then leaving it up to a market to decide. Because when you do that and what you're involved in is absolute shit, you are giving your rape status over. You are inviting something to go wrong if there's potential for it. So I said this before and I'll say it again. I think that we need to support the females in our community. Whatever support means to you. So give them words of encouragement or give them creative ideas. I'm not saying just suck up to them. I'm saying help them out in some way. If you have an idea, pass it on. If you have a way to help, pass that on. And so also, I'm encouraging all creators. This is what we need, is more people to testify that they have enthusiasm towards this stuff. And maybe lately you'll have new ideas of conveying this stuff. I constantly have... I constantly evolve in the ways that I want to convey stuff. I don't have a list in front of me, but the certificates is an example of it. The Volcano Cast was an example of it. And recording Twitter Spaces. Doing the DeFi puzzle. That's another topic that we could talk about. The creators. We need more people to create content in new ways to reach new audiences. We need people to focus on what Richard said about evergreen content. We don't need just streamers interviewing other streamers and saying, "Oh yeah, we're tying the community together." I think that is the biggest circle jerk and most silly thing is whenever a streamer tries to get another streamer, one after the other, to say that, you're somebody because you're at the same level as them or something. Instead, what we need is new participants. We need more people to come around, but we also need the news channels. So if you're a person who provides content that covers what's happening, that's important. That's important, one. And then two, if you're creating content that's thought-provoking and conveying stuff in a new way, that's interesting. I don't necessarily like... I think that what I'm doing right now is actually a service for the community and not really an outreach thing, of course. Only if somebody's really intelligent and they see me talking, will they say "Oh, this must be a huge community if this guy's doing these overviews of what's happening." So, Hex Glenn, I see what you're doing. You're taking videos that you recorded a while back and you've clipped them and made them 20-minute, 30-minute digestible bites. I see what you're doing, and I applaud you for doing new things and taking existing content or stuff that you didn't have to do anything new for. You already did the work for this. Repackaged it, but guys, we gotta we gotta like listen literally to what Richard says. We need evergreen content, shit that doesn't stink, and that really spreads a message, and let's get it out there. And then so another thing that comes to mind whenever I say that is the mailing effort. Whenever Togash created the HEX postcards group, he was taking Richard's words literally. Richard literally said, the physical mail cannot be gate kept. So keep that in mind. And to this day also, the Hexicans are the only people who've done physical mail. People who had pulse chain projects claimed that they were going to do physical mail, and I still haven't seen shit. So we're always watching, and year after year we're going to tally up all the bullshit that you have led people to believe. You as in you grifters, you floaters, you people who were here for self-gain instead of self-improvement. So that's another thing is self-improvement. Like during this bear, I hope that y'all bettered yourselves. Y'all worked on your brain and you worked on your bodies. I'm pretty sure that if you worked on your body, you probably didn't hang around in Twitter Spaces or on YouTube and stuff, and you sort of like took a break from things, and maybe your brain too. So I worked on my body, and I hope you guys did too during that time period. And now to talk about the DeFi puzzle. So DefiPuzzle.xyz is the website for 1 million HEX sitting on the blockchain, ready for you to find if it is that you can crack the one image puzzle that has the seed phrases inside of it. So there's 12 seed phrases. Recently, this project, this game of mine, has had a revival a little bit, and the reason why is because of let's say 2 people, and I hope I'm not missing anybody that had a larger role in this, but you know, I created the thing a while back, like November, and so of course I had to work on it during like October, November of last year, right? So it's almost a year old. And the idea was I've got 1 million HEX liquid sitting on the Pulse Chain blockchain. So if people crack the puzzle or try to crack the puzzle, they'll figure out that this wallet that holds the amounts of HEX, which the amounts of HEX is fluctuating, you know, and it's PHEX, it's HEX on Pulse Chain. The value of the HEX is fluctuating, so they're able to see what is this HEX token and how much is it worth, and what all's interesting about it. And then they also look at what's the blockchain it's on. It's on Pulse Chain. So right there, the players have to recognize the coin that's up for offer and the blockchain that it sits on. They have to recognize it in order to play. They also have to recognize a bit about wallet security and how it is that 12 words can open up a wallet, and how the coins are always sitting on the blockchain. You just have to have the access code. And that's what you're trying to get by playing the game. So Parkway is one guy who has revived the game, and I'm really excited that he had a lot of enthusiasm for like 2 or 3 weeks. He had a lot of enthusiasm towards it. He, like many people thought that he was going to crack it really quickly, and found out how hard it was going to be over the course of like basically the first 3 days. He talked a lot about it. I don't know why it is that he chose to highlight the puzzle, but maybe it's because he saw the depths of the bear and he wanted to distract people and himself, and maybe he wanted to prove himself because he's also prideful of his security stuff. And another guy, and so what he's done is he's created AMA spaces for me to come into and for me to face questions about the thing. And I recorded those, or I recorded at least one of them and put them up on this channel. So check that out. And another person who has been reviving the game is Trap Gravity. So Trap has been communicating with a lot of different communities on Twitter and asked those folks if they would donate to that wallet address. And you know, there are some people who are like, yeah, I'll donate, no problem, and they actually follow through. And then there are other people who claim that they'll do it, but they never do. And then there's, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, if somebody's a founder of a coin, then they probably shouldn't donate it themselves. Instead, somebody else who's kind of an investor of a coin should donate towards it. But what it does for them is it gets eyes on their project. Like, say if they're one of 10 coins that are in this wallet, and whenever you look at the wallet and it lists the amount of value in US dollars descending, would it be descending? So the HEX token is there at the top, and then after that could be a coin that there's like $1 of that coin, and then after that if there's 50 cents of this other coin. Well, those are kind of being advertised, if you will. So that's what it would be in for them. But it's also interesting to hear like people say that they're going to do something and then not do it. Hopefully, you know, I'm the human error that in this game. You know, if anything's to falter, it would be for me to accidentally have those seed phrases stolen or seen by another or captured in some way. Now, I have thought about burning those seed phrases and actually videotaping me burning those and then posting that up too, and then people could like maybe look at that and see if they can see any of the edges as it burns, what words they might be able to see, letters or whatever. That would be kind of a fun game to addition to the game, where it's like there's a clue there if you can make a clue out of it, you know. If you can find what I allowed to be shown on the video, or what I mistakenly allowed to be shown on the video. But I do have like 8 or more clues that are like sentences to get you to think about the puzzle in a certain way. But I haven't released any of those. Right now, I think the only clues are the YouTube short videos, where it gives away just a little bit of the information. Or like where to look, where you could narrow it down a little bit. Okay. Another thing that's happened is with this bear, with Richard doing what he's done, with the creation of Pulse Chain and HEX being created so far before that, it's really made it to where like our conversations about crypto have become more our conversations about money. It's become more realistic, more tangible, more sewn together. Money and crypto. And the fortified conviction that the two are the same. Now, you know, the people who are on Twitter, they're going to say, yeah, but you got to think about your liquidity pools and, you know, what's available whenever it is that you want to pull out. Like, whenever you're sitting there, you're looking at the price of your coin and how many coins you have. But if you start to sell, how quickly will that price start to drop with this, you know, like how is it that you're going to cash out? So that's still a concern. But as we have, like I said, more hundreds of thousands of people coming to crypto, that is going to be less and less of an obstacle. We're going to have more on-ramp, off-ramp situations. And hopefully, you know, this is evolutionary. Hopefully we're going to have just so many people, so many interactions that that sort of thing will become less and less relevant of an argument. But what I'm trying to convey is whenever it is that I have conversations on the street or in the checkout aisle at the grocery store about crypto, I always had this reserved, a portion of me reserved whenever I would talk about crypto to other people, because it's like, yeah, it could go anywhere. There is a lot backing it, but there's not enough backing it compared to the belief system in the US dollar, of course, or a lot of these other currencies. So with going through all the turmoil, let's say, of what happened during this bull, and even people around you breaking and just saying, I can't fucking handle this anymore. But yet you still being able to operate with crypto, of maybe cashing in on a portion of what you had, or maybe the right to transact of getting out of one and into another, or maybe buying the lows, of putting more money in. It's becoming more and more real and intertwined with our lives, to where the conviction down in somebody who talks about this often and is just fine conveying messages to people locally, the conviction has now settled in. And even though I took profits here and there, and they were real, and they paid for things in the real world, they're able to fund my life. Even though that instance happened, I saw that, but other people did not, and it's hard to convey to and how many people stay around and talk about those successes. In the coming, like now and in the coming years, we will see more people talk about successes and staying around and communicating with crypto communities. You know, the communities will get, the members of the communities will get wisdom over time as they operate with the same things, and it'll just become more solid. So that's what I wanted to convey right here, was this bear has made it, I think has made the has solidified people's position in the crypto. And I don't know if that's through, like right now, because we're down at the lows, I don't know if that's through despotism. They have nowhere else to turn. Or is it through pride? I'm very prideful, very proud of what it is that I've been up to. You know? I look back on the last few years and I just think, like, what the hell have I been doing? But a lot of my accomplishments are out there on the web, and in here in my head, and just a little bit on my body as well, like changing my diet and getting back into shape, or a better shape. But yeah, like physically, in my surroundings, I've cultivated things just like I've cultivated things in cryptocurrency. And finances are A-okay. And so now I'm ready for this bull. I'm ready for what we're all hoping is coming. Just as much as all these other folks who, like, maybe it's their first bull run, maybe it's their first time to be positioned correctly. But the conviction, there's something to say for that. There's something very, very big to say for that. I hope that you'll leave a comment down below talking about your evaluation of that same subject, please.
Spot on. I'm close.
So I'm watching Discourse Syndicate Friday night. So RG3, he's going on his rant, talking about how we need to not be so self-destructive inside the community. I don't know if I exactly agree with what he's saying. I like the evolution. I like the flushing out. I like it that, there are people that are fighting and will prevail, and there are people who are wussies and will fall back. So I just think that this sort of thing has to happen. Like, everybody needs to learn their lesson, I guess, is what you could say. But he's saying, like, be a coordinated effort, and it reminded me, and he was saying, like, back Richard. We need to back Richard. It reminded me of the evergreen content, but it also reminded me of how, like, whenever I was creating cards, I'm trying to figure out if I have any that are just right here. I made some metal cards, and when I made these metal cards, they're more expensive, much more expensive than, like, 100 times more expensive than regular cards. And I was thinking, like, okay, what is the exact best thing to point people to if they were impressed with a card, like this metal aluminum card that had paint on both sides and was very professional, yet it scratches. What would be the best thing? And it would be to point people to Richard Hart, because Richard, whenever he speaks more precise than a lot of us do. Most of us, if not all of us. And so it's really good for us to just point people straight to him and make it to where he is the billboard, instead of having it to where, like, you're in the middleman position, or you're in the factor at all. Instead, just point everybody straight to him. He's already got the evergreen content. Another thing that's on my mind that I had to go and find was that chart that talks about like the emotional psyche of a human as we experience the chart inside of cryptocurrency. And I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, and Crypto Coffee's statement came up, and he left a meme and one sentence, and it said, "I think we're in the disbelief phase." And so I had to go and relook that up because I couldn't remember which D word he was talking about. Like, there's depression stage, there's everything from disbelief of it going up, and then euphoria, and halfway up you're investing more, and then euphoria peak is like you want to establish everything, you want to create everything, and then you start going down and you are creating things, but you're losing slowly. So the disbelief stage is on the far end of the bear market. It's right before the bull. There's two stages of disbelief, where the first stage, you think that it's just another false bull flag, just another situation where, oh, that could trick people. We're not going anywhere. And then after that is another actual another amount of disbelief. So you'll have all sorts of like, tricked you, it's going to, oh no, tricked you, just still going sideways. And then at the end of it, of course, you're still going to be in disbelief as it starts to take off, thinking that, oh, it's another trap, it's another bull trap. And instead, it ends up being a solid gain. And then it starts to turn your opinion of like, oh, are we really doing this? So that's where Crypto Coffee thinks that we're at. And it kind of fits a lot, even though, yeah, like a few of us are still like making posts, I don't say this, making posts like, be careful, we still could go down. Like El Hexicano, I think, said that recently. I think Sami said that recently. Yeah. Here is the chart I was talking about. So disbelief is on both sides, basically. I'm seeing people return back to chat rooms. Chat rooms are livening up. I'm not exactly sure why, but Silver the Antidote is offering $10,000 to somebody who can prove some sort of a plan, a business plan, in order to interact with new people and introduce people into blockchain and our ecosystem. So that Silver the Antidote is offering $10,000 if you are a sober mind and interested in creating something in order to generate more interest towards our community, and you have a plan and you're okay with basically doxing yourself to Silver the Antidote, because he says that he will need to have Zoom face-to-face calls with you. All right, interesting. Here's the tweet by Silver. Richard Hart is doing tweets talking about green candles everywhere, because we did have a few days that were just completely green. And in those days, HEX went over 100%. And then also Richard tweeted out that his court date is moving from the 24th, 25th of October over to Halloween Day, the 31st of October. For the sentiment of our crypto community, we've had some people that have been disenfranchised, claiming that the OG hexagons the early guys are all toxic, the maximalists, and the other early guys are colluding in the background. That's the claim. And so I can see this happening, but at the same time, I don't really know what to do about it. I think it's kind of like, as our entire crypto community gets bigger, as Pulse Chain gets bigger, these issues become much smaller portion of the community at large, right? And maybe it'll be less significance. I think they'll always be successful, sadly, with whatever they're doing. You know, like they're being accused of communicating behind the scenes a month ahead of a launch, or a month ahead of bullish sentiment towards a certain coin, in order to get people to throw their money in and them maneuver it in some way. And I don't know how, like, thieves are honest with each other, you know, but there's just different degrees of what everybody feels about what it is that we're doing on the internet. Is it a casino? Do you treat it like a casino? So just hopefully we'll be able to have so much praise towards the existing Richard Hart stuff and not have to worry about all these things that are attracted to our community only because our community has funds to work with, because we've got the flow of fertility. So specifically what I was referring to is this guy named Sota, S-O-T-A, did a short documentary, and the comments are alive, and you know, if you choose to find it on Twitter. And that's a part of what RG3 was talking about when I mentioned him earlier. I'm thinking that a YouTube channel that highlights the females inside of our community would be a lot of fun. I suppose the majority of the content would be grabbed off of Twitter, all the different girls things. I asked somebody recently, what do you think are the top 7 influencers that actually should be promoted in order to get eyes on our stuff, right? It's a good is it a good exercise? I think that we could work, do some busy work to get more stuff out there. And again, evergreen content, or maybe something that's kind of timeline-ish. That's I think what I'm thinking. But like make it to where it's girl and guy friendly, but it's obvious that we're choosing to highlight females, like Hooters, the waitress, she's gonna have tits, and you're gonna get food, you're gonna get service, everything's gonna be cool. Everybody knows why everybody's there, right? Here's something that you may not hear from anybody else, especially during this time period. Back when we went to Vegas for the first time, I think it was the first time, the very first Vegas, organized by Maddie,
HEX Vegas. There was a rumor going around where somebody had spread the FUD that HEX was going to go to 0.6 of a cent. And when I heard that, I didn't want to believe it at all. And now, if it is that we found a bottom and we came up from it, that call was exactly right. That call was absolutely right. Like, we dipped below with the PHEX recently, we dipped below 0.6 of a cent. But if you added both of them together, it would be basically 0.6 of a cent. Both of them together. Somebody called that all the way back at Vegas around the time that our highs were being created or had just been created. So I guess it was right afterwards. So what happened to the gentleman that figured that out, or the group of people that figured that out, did the exact math? Because it's all like TA, just crunch the numbers. I don't know what happened to that person. I don't know where they were. I do remember where I was when I heard it, but I literally did the math in my head on my own portfolio. It was just like, my God, I hope that doesn't happen. So hearing that, did I make any different moves because of that? No, I didn't. Not at all. I protected myself a little bit, and the rest of it was still in Pulse Chain or in HEX. So looking forward to the bear just as much, or to the bull, the bear end, as much as you guys are. Or even looking forward to whatever the next progression in all of this stuff is. I mean, the damn politics of today, freaking crazy. It's so exciting because it seems so fake. It seems like, we're dreaming. And happy Halloween if it is that I don't do another one of these before Halloween.